Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Friday morning trading room. We get the screen share going on. All right, so yesterday, a little bit of a roller coaster. The market tailing off for most of the morning session, recovering slightly through the afternoon, only to fall off sharply into the close. And then this through the overnight, the roller coaster continues. A very, very active overnight market. A lot of people are talking about President Trump's plans with China adding a lot of volatility to the marketplace, and I would have to concur. My goodness, the volatility sure spiked. All right, for those of you, oh no, actually I was going to say the first eagle signal working out very well. It was actually a pre-market signal, a nice eagle signal all the same, a very nice, smooth trend change signal. As this one developed, it did have a big trend preceding it. So you could view that more as a continuation signal. That's probably how I would have looked at it as well. And a nice little rally here to start the day. It looks like they're getting busy here for Friday. David's got a question here about the Raptor. David asks, good morning, Eric. Well, good morning, David. As the Renko bar moves, there is a 90-degree bracket to the right, and it turns colors from green to red. What is the significance? Thanks. Okay, we'll just wait for it here. It's actually in a part of the Geiger counter. Okay, so you see how this little green envelope, this little green bracket around the bar, that is part of the Geiger counter tool, and it actually shows you the immediate short-term bias. So the Geiger counter is reading a little bit of a bullish push here. And in case you're not good at putting your left eyeball on the Geiger counter and the right eyeball on the current price, this is just kind of a quick visual of what's going on the Geiger counter. All right. Pretty strong rally out of the gate, and now we're actually seeing a number 2 signal. It looks like price is falling slightly. Gonna get back here to the hard edge, I'm guessing. I don't know. It's well, it's still early, of course. We're only 5 minutes into the day. It's hard to really get a handle on which way the market might be leaning just yet. The Hawk performing well as usual. Great little scalp opportunities here this morning. Right out of the open, had a first micro macro cross signal, and now just recently getting a first micro macro cross to the short side. I don't mind giving the market a few minutes myself to settle in. I've mentioned this before, but I'm not that brave right out of the gate. And, you know, sometimes I get left behind on some moves, granted, but trading a very personal business. At the end of the day, you try to find something that works for you. Because, hey, after all, it is your money. So we're back to the hard edge. This is where we anticipate some sort of reaction to occur. Okay, getting a little bit of a late filter entry working here on the Falcon. I was just about to say that should work out as it slips lower. Trend line a little bit steeper, not as desirable as the when the trend line is much flatter. I'm not going to find one now. All right, well, we're getting bearish across the board now. We've got a bearish eagle, a bearish hawk, bearish falcon, and a bearish raptor now working a cloud crossover signal. So the clouds are crossed, there was a little bit of a pullback, and we produce our signal to sell. Wow, and there they go. Okay, well, I'm still watching. Sometimes when the market is unfolding this fast, I find it a little bit more difficult to trade it than when the market is a little bit slower and sideways. Yeah, like Scott says, I'd much rather place my order than just hit the buy and sell. Well, and for me, like I said, sometimes I need to get a feel for which way the market is leaning. Is it going to be more bullish? Is it going to be more bearish? And then I can plan my trade accordingly. I think it's fairly safe to assume today is going to be a more bearish kind of day. Certainly has that bias to it. Here the Falcon producing another late filter entry, this first one up here. Very good follow through. And now this second one, which actually has a flatter trend line, which tends to be more desirable, seems to be struggling a little bit. Oh, there they go. They're getting it in gear. And now here on the Raptor, well, actually across the board, we're getting a little bit of a bullish hiccup. And the problem I'm having now with some of these signals is, where do I cover the trade? Right here, sure, this is a first micro macro, or pardon me, getting all my signals mixed up. This is a late filter entry. Where do I cover the trade? Well, probably up here at the very least, above the high of the morning, is actually the right place to put your stops. I'm using air quotes when I say that, but obviously I can't afford that. That's going to be out of reach. But it does appear as though market in a little bit of a free fall this morning. Oh, look at them go. Craziness. And is that hesitation? Oh, yes, I thought so. A little bit of a hesitation here near the overnight lows. So they're kind of thinking about it. Do we want to buy the market up here again, or do we just want to keep going lower? I'm guessing they're just going to keep on going lower. There they go. Wow, I'm tempted just to sell. Just hit the sell button. sometimes when the market is in such an obvious trend, sometimes all you can do is just hit the sell button, place your stop and maybe here to the hard edge, and keep your fingers crossed. It's such a crazy, crazy kind of day today. Oh, of course, I'm going to get tapped to break even here again. Yeah, the market's in a free fall, and I get tapped at break even. Oh well. Somewhere through here this morning, there is going to be a signal that we can capitalize on. But I've heard it said, that if the market has a defined trend to it, whether it be higher or lower, just get in. But of course, like I said, my challenge is, where do I place my stops? Where do I place my stops that I don't get wiped out? Okay, here now a number 3 signal. And are they going to run away on me again? Looking at a second push opportunity. You're probably going to want to give the market a little bit of room. Oh, shoot. Come on now. Give the market a little bit of room here. And I'm probably going to restrict this to a single contract. Because of the amount of volatility that we're seeing, I don't want to place my entry right here at the low, which, as I mentioned, is a very broad number 3 signal, second push on number 3. And we're coming back with a counter trend signal, number 2 signal. Those tend to be fairly reliable. Those number 2 signals after a number 3, we usually see a move back here to the hard edge, and then the market coming out from there. Hey, way to go, Mark. Mark punching out early here. Says, I've gone 3 for 3. Late filter entries to the downside. I've hit my goal for 3 trades. And just a little over 1,200 on the day. Nicely done, Mark. Unless something else too good to pass presents, I'm done. I would be done too. You don't want to. Anytime you hit 4 figures on a day, you don't want to give that back. $66.50. I don't remember if that was a sticky point a few days back or not. But it does seem to be a little bit sticky right now. So much so that we're even going to produce a cloud crossover here on the Hawk. Or the Hawk. Doggone it, Eric. My mind is just mush by the end of the week. Here on the Raptor, got a nice trend change and a late filter entry here on the Falcon. So the signals, they're really just coming fast and furious, and it's hard to trade sometimes when the market is unfolding this quickly. You just got no time to think about things. All right, here now the number one signal. Ooh, I was looking for a second push opportunity. It came right there, but just didn't get a chance to get it going. Are they going to give me another chance to get in here, scoundrels? Oh man, a roller coaster. All right, well, doggone it anyways. Am I going to get an opportunity to buy back into this? Hey, look at that go. I'm going to have to take a look at the Hawk here, or perhaps even the Falcon. They're all over the map here, not letting me into this market. All right. Well, here's just your basic trend line touch signal. Look at that. We're all the way back here to the primary. Is that the primary resistance line? My goodness. This market is just wild. Same problem as before, though. Sure, I can set up a trade entry here above the primary resistance, which is probably a good enough trade. But where am I going to risk it? I suppose here on the Raptor, if you wanted, we could cover it back here to the hard edge. If the market's going to retrace, it's going to do so back here to the hard edge. And well, looks like that may work out to be a pretty clean little move. And now the pullback. All right. And look at that. There they go. So they're going to challenge the stops now. Okay, well, at least now that we're back to the hard edge, we might be able to do something with this. Wow, look at that bearish pushback. The heavy hitters are out today. All right, I may try something here. Okay, we're getting a number 2 signal. The market getting itself a little bit congested. And here we're coming back with a hard edge bounce. Oh man, there's so much so much volatility. I'm frightened. I'm really afraid of a getting tagged by a wandering market. You know what? I think I'm going to do an OCO order. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do an OCO. I'm going to look to buy above the high here. And I'm going to look to short below the low. Because we finally got the market in a little bit of a sideways funk here. Now a number 1 signal to buy, so it looks like the buyers are going to push on through the big stumbling block, the high of the morning, of course. Oh, baby. Oh, all right, let's buy back into that one. For whatever reason, my software kicked me out, and I'm going to hold my stop back a little as we get a little reaction here to the high du jour. What do you think? Should I try to run it a little further? Are we going to get back here to the high of the morning? Wouldn't that be something? Oh, right now they're showing me no love. All the way back to the hard edge, and they're going to tag me, the scoundrels. See, it all comes back to proper stops again. If you can keep your stop far enough away, look at that. Wow, that was brutal. Okay, well, if they're not going to go up, then I'm going to try a short. Okay, here the early cloud cross now. Oop, I'm just going to end up having to punch into that one too. Can risk it up there. I'll give them a couple of ticks here. Well, there's swing one. Can I risk swing two? Ooh, I can. Okay, a lot of times what I'll do if I've taken a loss like that, I'll actually double up the other direction. I'll actually take two contracts instead of one. One will be to offset my earlier loss. Okay, let's see if we can't do that. Okay, so all this is an early cloud crossover signal. We've had the big pullback. We've come back with the short signal. Oh, you guys. Look at that. Just above my profit target, this is where they decide to react. Okay, I'm going to have to pull my break even stop back a little bit just to ride out this swing. Okay, got profit on the first contract. Now the official cloud crossover signal. Once again, I'll hold my stops. Hopefully I can ride out this swing. No, I can't. And now we're going to come back with yet another signal to sell. So volatility really spiking here this morning. But I did manage to offset my loss a little bit, so that's good news. Sometimes, like I say, when the market's not cooperating one direction, you can be a little bit safer going the other way. Now that we're getting a little bit more structure to the day, should be a little bit easier to figure out which way they're going to go. Yeah, Mark says no shortage of volatility this morning. No, sir. Okay, David asking, or not asking a question, but so much making a statement here. David writes, Eric, you gave a masterful piece of advice a few years ago. You mentioned stops being too close as we're afraid of losing money, and a few bars after getting stopped out of the market would go in the direction you were thinking. What you said was, if you're going to have several losing trades in a row, all the time your direction was right, why don't you have a larger loss for the day? Oops, sorry. I'm trying to scroll here. Why don't you have a larger loss for the day, as your stops are going to lose that much anyways? If you lose $500 three trades in a row, or lose $500 in one trade, just bet $500. Larger stops, you'll give your trade enough room to wiggle. I used that today. David's in sim, but hey, it all counts. Trading 4 contracts, 3 targets and a runner for being hopeful. 3 trades only so far, up $1,310. Nicely done, David. Yeah, it's true. You know, we're afraid to lose money, and that's when you lose money. I've used the analogy of playing poker as well, right? If you play cards, this is your bet. There's no getting away from it. Once you're in the game, you can't take your money back. You can't take your money off the table if you don't like your cards. The important thing is that you try to contain your risk to an amount that you can afford to lose. So when you're in risk mode, it defaults to this value. 2% of my capital means that I'm going to lose, or I can comfortably lose $250. Yeah, it's not pleasant, but at the same time, you should never take a loss personally. Taking a losing trade does not make you a bad person. It just means that you were wrong about what the market was doing. That's all. Once you know what is wrong, you're that much closer to doing what is right. But yes, David, you're absolutely correct. Strangling your trades is a big no-no. And it's a lesson that took me a very long time to learn as well. I'm as stubborn as anyone, and probably more stubborn than most. By the way, my wife spells stubborn Stupid, but it took me a long time to wrap my head around that. Now, why don't I just leave a decent stop? And like David said, if you're going to be out $500 on the day, why not risk $500 on one trade rather than death by 1,000 paper cuts? Take 10 losing trades at $50 a pop, you're still out $500. But if you run the $500 stop, you may actually have a chance to make some money. Imagine that. All right, it looks like we're getting a little bit of a barber pole thing going on here, a little bit of a sideways churn. I'm scared again. We've got a really big sideways trading range. I don't know, maybe I'll just end up bracketing the big trading range and let the buyers and sellers duke it out. Not take the trade until we get outside the trading range. That means I would have a short way down here. Where's this one I want? Yeah, this one. So I would short way down here. I'm not going to short two. I'm going to short one. Sell one way down there, buy one way up here. And you can see, we're going to produce some signals in between here. But that's really the range right there. Everything else within here is just going to be sideways chop. Or as a trading friend of mine used to say, he used to call that the abattoir. For those of you rusty with your French, that is French for slaughterhouse. And look at that, you can just see them. churning just back and forth. Wow, I wonder, maybe I should be up here. That is a super big trading range, but again, you don't want to get into a market just for the sake of being into a market. You want to be in a market to make some money. And granted, there is a lot of room in here, but I'm just not feeling really comfortable with the market flip-flopping so much. Sometimes, there is such a thing as finding the right place to get into a market. Just look at the churn here. That number 2 signal had some decent follow through, but honestly, it was so close to the hard edge, would have been really tough to take. The number 1 signal, enough for a scalp, but right now your stops would be down here. They'd be challenging your stops. Could bring this, now that they've reinforced the lows, we could bring the short order in a little, and this is kind of a delayed number 1 signal now off of the low, and maybe I will fool them this time and get my break even just a little bit further so they don't tag me so quickly. Actually, you know what? I've got the parabolics in play. I'll delete my break even, or not the parabolics, but the super trend. Come on, give me that follow through. All right, gotta hold my stops back here to the hard edge. They go, at least until I get out of that swing. That's that little break even swing they were gonna try to tag me at again. All right, here we go. This time I'll take the trade to break even. Scott says, even bad things in French sound nice. Abattoir. All right, the low of the day down here at 66.51, the whole 66.50 area, again, very sticky. No, wouldn't give it to me. Doggone it anyway. Well, it was a reasonably safe trade had I taken profit on target. Oh, gee, imagine that. I would have actually banked some profit there instead of a break-even stop out. But you can't blame a guy for trying to run a trade a little bit further. Oh, Mark ventures in for one more trade. He said picked up a trend change to the downside here on the Falcon. That would have been this one back here. Great follow through. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to watch, if you're just sitting here watching the market unfold and you're seeing all these opportunities and you're thinking, why am I not trading that? You got to pick your moments. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit more aggressive here on this market. Okay, the hawk showing a lot of yellow bars. I'm not really keen to see that. We are getting some more buying near the low of the morning. That's where the market rallied from last time. And we may well see another rally. You could do another bracket type trade if you wanted. You could, well, bracketing above this high might be a little bit cozy given the volatility. Selling below the low is the easy part. That's the easy part of that bracket trade. All right, let's take a look here. We'll buy up here, we'll short down here. Stops enabled. Getting a cloud crossover to the short side. Lots of yellow bars, lots of sideways action, which is why I'm kind of leaning toward the possibility of a bracket style trade. We'll see. If they come back here and give me now a proper number one signal, I can certainly get on board with that. Yeah, Mark says if you take the amount of volatility into context, it's hard to sit on the sidelines on a day like this. It's very difficult. And of course, it comes back to the whole discipline thing. we're getting another swing here. I'm going to adjust my entry a little bit. Maybe not too tight. Wow, I can't believe we've only been an hour into the trading day. This is nuts. Okay. I'm going to make a run through the top. It's looking that way. Okay, I'll take the trade to break even at this point. I got my fingers and toes crossed. Oh no. Oh no. Get up there. Oh, brother. Well, we'll get a proper number one signal here in a moment. That will give me another buying opportunity. You know what? Things are moving so quickly. I'm just going to get ready on the buy button. So the cloud's fully crossed now. Things short-term bullish. And I'm just going to wait for the signal to develop. There's the warning dot. Okay, they're pulling back a little bit. I can actually anticipate the signal at this point. Well, I'll throw a just in case order up there. Or will I? Yeah, I think I will. We'll throw a just in case order up there. Cover the trade here to the hard edge. Now we're producing red bars, red signal. Like I said, I'm pre-planning. If the market bounces from here and heads higher, it is going to produce a number one signal. So I'm just anticipating that. See, there it is. Okay, so a number one signal followed by a number two signal followed by, well, it won't print as a number three signal, but you can see that this is very much like a hard edge bounce. Oh, now we're definitely getting a hard edge bounce. If we come back here with another buy. And there's the number three signal. All right, here we go. Okay, big push up, almost to the break even. Come on. All right, maybe this time, because I'm leaving a profit target in play, maybe this time they'll actually give it to me. Okay, what happened there? Oh, looks like I got my profit target. Hooray for me. Yes, I did. Wow. I must have been the last order out. Yeah, Mark. Mark says you made money. That's what happened. Oh dear, I know all those break-even trades today. Had I just left the trade as is, I would have done just fine. I would have had profit on all those break-even trades. Oh well. Like I said, such is trading, and not a bad day so far. That was a fairly straightforward trade, and what I was looking for was just to get outside of that trading range. I was hesitant trading so long as the market was within that range. Now we're getting a number 3 signal, which is, believe it or not, the bounce from way back here. This is how long it took for that number 3 signal to form. And it looks like that one giving us some pretty decent follow through as well. Things about to get sticky here as we get, where's the high? 67.21. 6,700 is going to be a little bit of a sticky spot again. Look at that reaction at 6,700. This is actually going to give us a pretty good area that we can buy above, however. We're working a possible late filter signal here on the Falcon. We've already got a macro pullback here in the Hawk if you want to choose to be a little bit more aggressive on the trade. We'll give them a few minutes to fill this out. Okay, so we do have a late filter entry signal here now. Oh, no, sorry, it wasn't a late filter entry signal because it was broken up here with the trend line. Um, sorry, folks. Like I said, the end of the week, my brain is a little bit mushy. Excuse me. Number two signal, retraced now to the hard edge. Very, very feasible. This is a number two after a number three, which makes it oh so enticing. Okay, and we get a second push on this one as well. Here again, we're getting the market in a really tight little trading range. You could bracket this as well. You could short below there. You could buy above here. Maybe not exactly at 6,700. Maybe give it a couple of ticks. Where's my stop strategy? There we go. A word of caution. If your stop strategy is so close to your entry, so we've got a bearish stop strategy, a bullish entry just above here, there's a chance that as you get filled, you will get stopped out early because Trade Manager is going to put your stops right up here. It won't actually have time to flip them lower. So what I'm going to do is if it looks like the market's going to fill to the long side, I'll actually disengage those stops. David's asking, Eric, are you using Ninja 7 or Ninja 8? Ninja 7, David. Ninja 8, in spite of what you see on the NinjaTrader website, is still in beta testing. There's not as many glitches in it as when they first released it, but I prefer to stay with the most stable version, which usually means I'm trading the older one or using the older one. I am not one to upgrade, I'm using air quotes, upgrade software quickly. Here, I gotta stop this. Oops, there we go. Yeah, sorry about that. If I had my way, I'd still be trading Ninja 6.5. Oh, and here we come with another number three signal. So this is, a risky trade, a counter trend trade. Obviously, we got a fairly bullish looking market here right now. So I'm trying to go counter trend. This is another one of these situations. If the trade does not work out, it's worth your while to try the trade in the other direction because it was a strong signal. I don't reverse often on my positions, but on a day like today, I will, just because that's the way the market is flowing. And hopefully I don't get the double tap. That's always bad. We're kind of getting a little late in the day as well. I know it's only quarter two, but it is Friday and there has been a lot of volatility here already. So the market might be ready to settle in, but we'll see. Oh, look at that. Back to the hard edge. Not getting the follow through I had hoped for. Stinkers. My stops are still in the right place. I know that if I get stopped out here, I'm definitely on the wrong side of this market, and it will be time for me to go. But here's hoping that get a little bit more follow through. And here's a situation where I moved my break even out of the way, but I can bring my break even in now if we see another rally and the market gets back near the highs here, then that will be a good spot to take a break even. What a roller coaster ride this morning. My goodness. What a crazy kind of day. Okay, here now the number 3 signal, the hard edge bounce. I'm not liking it because we're getting back, like I said, toward the highs of the day. And it's going to get a little bit more difficult as we get up here. But hopefully we'll see a little bit more follow through here. Wow, another crazy move on the part of the okay, I'm going to stay with a parabolic stop. It's a little bit more aggressive, but I think I'm more interested in protecting my open profit. And I could even, if you wanted, you could put a profit target here at the high of the day. And no doubt there will be some sort of hesitation when and if the market gets up there. Of course, if it breaks through there, well then, hang on. What was yesterday's high? Near 6,800 or above 6,800? Can you imagine going another 100 points today? Whew, what a day that would be. Oh, darn it. Got taken out on the little bit of a pullback here just out of curiosity. No, I would have got tagged even with the other stop strategy. Okay, I'll take it though. It was a good little trade. And I don't know, that might be it for me right now. We're really seeing the market kind of get into a sideways funk. It's hard to see, but we're back near the high of the day. Where are you? Huge ranges, but back near 67.20, the bottom around 66.50, and that is the very big sideways trading range. Yep, settled back now here to the hard edge. And now we're getting the sellers pushing back. So, like I said, I'm not sure that we're going to get much more out of the market this morning. If you're going to continue trading this afternoon, hey, way to go, Paul. Paul's 5-0 today. Way to go, man. 5 for 5. He's up $500. Nicely done, Paul. Good job. The market definitely has a bearish bent to it in spite of all the rallies we've seen. I think the bigger trend still is down short term. Here's the daily, and you can see here was yesterday's session. Today, very neutral by comparison, but that is still has a bearish slide to it. So this is why we're seeing the rallies, because we're back here to this 66.50 area where the market rallied from last time. So if you're going to continue trading today, I think you can expect the market to remain kind of wishy-washy, but I think if you're in doubt, get short, because that is kind of the bigger trend going on right now. All right, gang. I think we're going to wrap things up, and have yourselves a really nice weekend. I will talk to you again on Monday. We'll see you then. Bye for now.